No, I really can't at all. We've been really good at times. When we were in the 2005 team, I thought would win all the games. Ohio State was really a difficult game, but if we could get by that one, I thought we had a chance to run the table. And then when we beat OU that year, I really felt like we had a chance if we stayed healthy and obviously got ready to play. You've got to do that. But I think it changes every year, and it's gotten more difficult now to determine how your team's going to play just by looking around the country, because there are more upsets than ever before for whatever reason. And what we've tried to do now, and this game will be no different, you try to take it as a one-game week. You prepare for it. You do the best job you can do with it. You try to win it. And then next week we got Missouri. It's number 2. The next week we got Oklahoma State, that to me is the most underrated team probably in our league at 17, because they've just run up and down the field on everybody. And then you've got Texas Tech in Lubbock. So I think what's happened in college football, and especially with our schedule this year, it's going to be every week. And if we win this weekend, that doesn't mean we're in great shape. That means we're going back to work, and we better go back fast, and because Missouri's playing so well.
Do you remember a 4-game stretch in your coaching career that's been this daunting?
No, asking Bill and John, I don't think Texas has ever had one like this, and we've never had one like this. And I told the guys it's a great opportunity for us. This is a fun team, and it's a special team, and they're working really hard, and nobody will question who we're playing. Nobody will question how good we are, and how much fun is that to go compete against the best in the country, and at a time where the Big 12 is the best they've ever been. So good for the Big 12.
Can you talk about Iglesias and their receivers, and how right when you think OU's graduated, maybe their top receiver, they just fill that spot?
Yeah, these guys have been around a long time. Malcolm Kelly left early, and he would be in this group, but we remember this group from playing in their freshman or redshirt freshman years, and I'm sure they think Quan and Jordan have been here forever too as we start looking at it. But Johnson, Iglesias, all those guys have played so much football against us, and I do think that the respect is back in the game from both teams, and both teams know both teams are really good right now, and they'll expect a real battle against each other. Somebody here, I'm sorry. Keith?
I was just going to say a follow-up that you often call this game a bowl game in the middle of the season. How important is it emotionally to understand this is just 1 week of the season?
Yes, I probably made a mistake calling it a bowl game, and I meant the atmosphere. People get so excited in these 2 states. There's a pep rally. I mean, there's all this stuff that happens that doesn't normally happen. But now, like you said, it's for both teams. We won this game and lost the last 2 games when we were in great shape to win the conference championship 2 years ago, and just killed us. And if everybody said the season's over after Oklahoma, it's not. You got to go back to work, and I think Bob would say the same thing. So one of the difficult things for us is to play an important high-profile game like this at midseason and make sure that next Sunday you go to work and go back to work regardless, win or lose, because the season's not near over anymore in the Big 12 with a game this big at midseason. I'm sure Georgia and Florida say the same thing to them. It's just unusual to have something that's this important to so many people at midseason, and now it's a conference game where, unlike when you played, Keith, it was a national game but not a conference game. Now it's even more important.
Coach, what do you like about the atmosphere of this game and the cotton?
You want what you do to be important. You want people to enjoy it. You want them to be excited about it, and you're proud of your team when they are deserving of national recognition. And for the first time now, I think after 5 games, this team's proven that we deserve to be somebody that somebody's at least acknowledging now as a team that's played well for 5 weeks. And when OU's doing the same thing, it just makes it special for all of us. More fun for you all to cover 2 good teams. And I remember when we got here, everybody said the luster was gone. This game wasn't important anymore, and nobody really cared about it. It wasn't even a national TV game, and it was so sad that the Texas OU game was unimportant. It was important to the players. It was important to the coaches, but it's back now to where it has national implications, and that's fun.
Do you think both teams are playing on the same level?
John, 1 second. I like her question better, and I didn't hear it.
But do you like that it's half and half, and you've got half the stadium hating you and half the team and half the stadium loving you, and that whole raucous?
None of that really matters to coaches. I mean, if you look at the big upsets 2 weeks ago, all of them were at home. I mean, we're seeing now home field advantage isn't even what it used to be, and I'm not sure why. But Bill Little told me when I first got here, momentum changes so much in this game because it's half and half. I found out the half that's playing good is a lot louder than the half that's playing bad. So I think it depends on how you play. But all the talk last week about the 70-3 game and that, none of those things matter. It's the team that plays the best when you get out there. You can throw out the stats, you can throw out who you played. The kids have to play good, and the coaches have to do a good job of coaching on Saturday. And other than that, all the talk, all the hoopla, I'll never forget Brian Bosworth when I was at Oklahoma making all the comments before we played Texas in '84. And I walked into Coach Switzer and said, "Coach, we need to back off here a little bit." And he said, "It will not make any difference in this game. I'm going to tell you, both teams will run into each other like two Mack trucks are going to hit each other right in the face." And he said, it never matters what they say before the game, so don't worry about it. And he did make 17 tackles and was the player of the game, I think. So, but I don't think any of that stuff really matters. It's fun. It's big. National TV, 11 o'clock, ABC. Everybody in the country will be talking about it. Game day there. All of those things are fun things. To the players and the coaches, what will matter only is who wins the ball game. John, you're a really good question. Ed, hey, it would be bad if I asked Ed for a question before you, John. That would be bad. I would not put you in it. All right, John.
I was just going to say, 5 games in, do you feel like both teams are playing at the same level?
I don't know. I mean, we've watched them for a day and a half, so it's unfair for me to say how they're playing. They're number one in the country, and are playing great. They're a little ahead of us with turnover ratio. But if you go back and look, both teams have answered the bell and done what they should do to this point. Last year, neither one of us would have said that because we both had a loss going into this game. So I do think that both teams have done what they can do to put themselves in a position for this game. Ed.
I'll pass. That's okay.
Good. Oh, God, that's great. Best, not anymore. You passed. Here.
Coach, you mentioned Chris Obanaya's performance. After 5 games, looking at your running back, if this is the kind of game where maybe Colt can't have as many yards rushing, talk about that group and what kind of who you can count on and you feel comfortable with that position right now.
Well, our question marks would be tight end still, to see where we are right now because of the loss of Blaine and making sure that the last half of the season, not just this weekend, where do we go? What do we do? And the second one would be now to get settled on the running backs. We won't know about the status of Fozzie until Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because every week we've thought, like you, that he would play, and he just hasn't. So all the is Fozzie going to play this week? We've been the same way. I mean, he just hasn't been able to get cleared yet to play. So what we've got to do is go back and now really review the first 5 games and try to figure out what situation is each guy best in. Chris was a high school receiver. He's averaging 14, 15 yards a catch. He's a mismatch on some linebackers and even safeties in some cases because he's like a receiver and he can run. So he's really good in all of those situations. He's 215 pounds. He broke a lot of tackles Saturday night on a couple of plays and made some long runs for us. So all of those things are things that you need in this game, and he's got really good ball security. I think the other thing that's key in the stats is, as you look, OU has not lost a fumble this year. We've lost 2. And so that is key. So you got to have a guy that's going to protect the ball.
Mac, you mentioned the quarterbacks earlier. Can you compare the styles of the two of them?
Well, they're very similar. Sam doesn't run as much, but can, because you can see him scramble and make some plays with his feet. They really haven't run much option with him, but he can move, he can sprint. They move him around, and the best thing they've done is they've taken those great players, and with an up-tempo offense, they're really keeping pressure on the defense right now, and they're making it really hard to substitute. You see in games where they're catching people with 12 on the field because they're trying to get substitution groupings. So they've done a good job. We've done a good job with the up-tempo. To me, they've done a better job with it because they're putting more pressure on because they're just relentless with snapping the ball quickly.
Take one more and then we got to go. Coach, you talked about how good the pass rush has been recently. Can you not count on getting as much pressure when you're going against, as you mentioned, a line that's going to have 3 NFL starters on it next year?
I think everything's relative. We've got really good players. They've got really good players. So you may not get as many as you did in the fourth quarter against Colorado, but pass rush is pass rush. And if you look at the way Roy Miller and Brian Arakpo and some of those guys, you start looking at Lamar Houston, Henry Melton, Sergio, those guys are getting pressure on the passer. and they're getting pressure on the passer early in the game. So I don't think there's any doubt that they can be a force each week, regardless of who we're playing.
Okay, thank you.